Welcome guys, today we're diving into something that's been stirring up a lot of buzz. Ben Shapiro's recent appearances on CNN and the firestorm of debates that followed. Now, if you've been following US politics lately, you probably know that Shapiro, known for his fast-talking, fact-heavy style, isn't exactly a regular on left-leaning platforms like CNN. But recently, that's changed in a big way. In early September 2025, Shapiro took center stage on a CNN panel discussion about Social Security and retirement policy, and let's just say, it did not go unnoticed.
I mean, the life expectancy, if you make it to 65 and you're a dude, is now 83. So the real question that I was asking is, when should the government pay you to retire? Which is a sort of a different question than when should you retire. When you should retire is sort of a personal question, and also depends on your definition of retirement. I don't think that, you know, if your goal is to be 65 and sitting on a beach for the rest of your life doing nothing, that the social science tends to say that's not very good for you. You actually should be involved in your community and get involved and still have a side job and all the rest of that. But if we really believe that we can't raise the retirement age and we're never going to change that, we will go bankrupt. And all the talk about cutting at the margins, you know, whatever Doge is doing, that's not going to touch the real driver of the systemic debt in the United States. Women are living to 85 if you make it to 65. Men are living to 83 if you make it to 65. That's 20 years on the public dime.
When you're talking about, hold on, when you're talking about the government paying, you're talking about Social Security,
Yes.
which is people's money.
Well, it is. Well, it is not the money you paid in.
It's the system that they pay into.
Well, no,
you're calling.
Paycheck stub.
Yes, but believe me, I pay a lot in my
I
Social
pay into
Security.
Social Security. I don't know about you.
I promise you, the amount that people are taking out is not the amount that is going in, which is why we are going bankrupt.
Okay, but it's not the government just handing out a blank check.
No, it's the government
people
borrowing money to
into
pay.
the Social Security
Well, you pay in X dollars, and then you get multiple times X dollars when you retire. That is how the system works. It is not a lockbox. This is what Al Gore was arguing about in 2000.
The other part of this, though, is at 65, right? I mean, yeah, you might be in great health. But many people are working hard jobs. They're on their feet.
It depends on what job.
I'm not saying if you're working back-breaking labor and your leg is falling off that you should be.
By the way, I just totally reject what you just said about how we're going bankrupt due to Social Security. Really, you don't think like the trillions of dollars we've spent on wars in the Middle East might have something to do with that?
It is not even
our
remotely
national
a percentage
debt.
of what we spend on Social
Our
Security.
national debt shot up significantly after 9/11, after we started invading countries in the Middle East.
You should look at a chart of
now
our
we're at
national
30.
debt. In 2008,
we're spending
it went
hundreds of billions of dollars on Israel, on Ukraine. I mean, honestly, these foreign conflicts have a lot more to do with our national debt as opposed to us paying into Social
You
Security
think
system.
Israel is a bigger portion of our budget than Social Security, Medicare,
I think we
Medicaid?
spend way too much money on military aid for foreign countries.
You think
Absolutely.
Israel is more
Do
than
you
Social
think
Security?
that Social Security is more of an issue compared to how much money we just shell out for conflicts abroad?
As a matter of spending.
He flat out said that America is headed toward bankruptcy if the retirement age isn't raised, arguing that people are living longer, collecting benefits for decades, and the math just doesn't add up anymore. He said, and I quote, "The amount that people are taking out is not the amount that is going in, which is why we are going bankrupt." He went on to point out that women who make it to 65 are living to 85 on average, and men to around 83, which, in his words, is 20 years on the public dime. Now obviously, that sparked serious pushback from others on the panel, especially Anna Kasparian from the Young Turks, who challenged him hard on the idea that Social Security is the main problem. She argued that US foreign spending, especially on defense and military aid, is draining the budget too. But Shapiro clapped back with budget data from 2024, showing Social Security eating up 21% of the federal budget, while defense spending accounts for around 13%. He wasn't just throwing out opinions, he brought the receipts. And the conversation didn't stop there. That same week, he went head-to-head with Kasparian again in a separate CNN segment that went completely viral online. They debated national debt, economic priorities, and what the government should actually be spending on. Shapiro stuck to his guns, warning that unless we deal with entitlement spending now, we're setting ourselves up for a fiscal crisis that future generations won't be able to fix. It's the kind of message that's been popular with fiscal conservatives for years, but now he's saying it right in the middle of a CNN broadcast, not just preaching to the choir on conservative media. And if you thought that was the biggest controversy, not even close. Back in March, Shapiro made headlines when he publicly urged Trump to pardon Derek Chauvin, the police officer convicted in the death of George Floyd. That statement set off a media firestorm, with CNN and other major outlets covering the backlash in depth. Shapiro argued that Chauvin's trial was tainted by political pressure and lacked proper due process, but critics accused him of undermining the justice system and downplaying one of the most significant civil rights cases of our time.